Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Crowdfunding Countdown. We are back in our usual scheduled closet. That's right, I'm back in Toronto. I've ditched the beard, and I have to immediately apologize because I did have an incredible pointy goatee, which you can see here and here. And that was for our final show of the year. I was out in Halifax doing a show, and I was going to keep it in order to film a few videos, but I had to shave it before I got back because Renee she wouldn't look at me. And also, the thing they don't tell you with those mustaches is that every time you drink, you just get water. I was sick of having water dripping from my mustache. So I got rid of it, and I will forever remain horribly in shame for such a thing. We do at least have an episode of Crowdfunding Countdown to make up for it, where we're going to take a look at every single board game campaign, finishing up in the next week. First off, though, I have to give a huge shout out to my newest patron, Hillary. This is very exciting for me. Hillary, thank you so much for jumping on board. I've said it to you personally. Hillary lives in Nova Scotia, and Hillary decided to come see the shows that I was doing out there, and she had never heard of them until I talked about them here. She's a board gamer first, and it was so lovely to get to chat with her at intermission and meet her family, and I'm just so thrilled that I was able to see some of my awesome community who live out east. It's really cool, and it's one of those things where, like, I'm so thrilled that Hillary came up to me at intermission. I mean, I'm thrilled that you signed up for Patreon as well, but it's one of those things where if you see me, you know my face, and I don't know your face. And so I love when people come up and just say hi, and because I really do. I feel like we have a lovely community here, and that's the wonderful thing about the board gaming hobby in general, is that you can create this sort of community and this sort of feeling amongst each other. And then you can meet the true me, where I spit on you. No, I would never. I honestly, Hillary's too sweet that I feel even horrible for making a scenario in which I pretended to do that, the evil version of me. Anyway, we're back in Toronto, and so upcoming this week will be the deathmatch recap, which I still need to do, and a video of recapping the games of the summer. I've got a couple video planned, one with the cast that I still need to edit, and one with just myself ranking all the games that I played. But that's not what we're here for. Here we're going to take a look at every single board game campaign, finishing up in the next week. So let's get right into it. Oh, see, I should have gotten this. That's for next week's sponsor. All right, let's get started. I also, just before we get started, so no, we won't get started. Just because we're in this doesn't mean we're starting. Well, you start when I say I start. I was really tired before I started filming this video, and then I am not anymore because I'm talking to you all, and that's just very exciting for me. So thank you all for brightening my day and giving me energy to face another version of people trying to jazz up tic-tac-toe with Tic Tac Slash. Tic Tac Slash is not the dexterity game of the same name, Tic Tac Slash, which is very similar to Fruit Ninja, except you need a real sharp samurai sword, or any sword really, just as long as it's very sharp and someone throws Tic Tacs at you and you slice them in thin air. No, this is an 18-card two-player game that takes classic game of tic-tac-toe and revamps it in a new and exciting way. We saw that last week. Do we need to revamp tic-tac-toe? I mean, maybe yes, but do we need to use tic-tac-toe as a baseline? I don't know. The last time I was sarcastic about a game, it ended up being my pick of the week. So let's see what this one's about. Okay, this is funny enough. It's funny enough because they're like, hey, you don't like the art style of the game? No, you don't like this? Don't worry, we'll make it as ninjas for you. We'll do anything. Just please back it. How much is this going to cost? That'll be the real thing. Print and play, $3. Single tier, 15. I wanted 10. But it's free shipping. Okay. You know what? Whoa. And it ships to all these different places. And it's free shipping. Anywhere. Yeah. Okay. That's around the right price point that I feel it should be. It's very simple. You're all going to have cards. And you place a card and you can overlap on a card. And you're trying to do what tic-tac-toe does. You can also, they say, I thought there was going to be a graphic, but there isn't. Yes, here's some advanced variants. You can match 3 of the same origin in a row to activate a special ability. Yeah. And magic portals where you and your opponents have to play around a certain space just to define the area. You know what? I'll say this. I'll say I don't think anyone can innovate on tic-tac-toe like Tic Tac Slash. That's what I'll say. That's my quote of this one. I would happily play it. Would I buy it? No. But if somebody pulled it out and be like, yo, play this cute little game, seems like it actually has potential. So there you go. But go with fantasy. Go with fantasy over ninja. That's how you do it. And I was continuing to scroll down because I thought, you know what? I need to know what the shipping is, but I don't. So there you go. If you're interested in that, check it out. That's Tuesday, September 12th at 11:59 p.m. We're back in Eastern time. Not that those timings really mean anything, right? It's more the day that I'm sure most people pay attention to. All right, good start. A good start to the week, Tic Tac Slash. I'm happy for you that you exist. Moving along, we have Fire and Ice, the miniatures board game. And if this feels pointed, well, then you're one of my patrons who just got rid of all of their Fire and Ice content. And good for you. Seriously, it's a weight off your chest. Nobody should get this. But let's check this out. The groundbreaking fantasy adventure of Fire and Ice can be yours to play in this collector's edition board game. Maybe it's different. I think this might be different. Yeah, it's very different. I was thinking a song of Ice and Fire. Two different, very two different games. But this is your attaboy. I don't know. Let's look at whatever this one is. I don't know what that one is either. And if you have boxes and boxes of just one game that you're not playing, and you can sell all that off, and you can get a bunch of other different games that you might play, that's what you should do. Anyway, let's look at this. All right, so this is based off of a animated movie from the 80s, Fire and Ice, where they face off against the subhumans, which probably not great. But don't worry, they said you've got sensual femme fatales in this game too. Ooh, so something for everyone, I guess. This is the guy who did the Lord of the Rings animated film, but not the good one. The good one is The Hobbit, and the good one is Return of the King. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, they don't want to go to war today. You can't tell me that's not the best animated movie of all time. I mean, you can, but I'll come to your house, and I will come for you, and I will tie you to a chair, and I will tape your eyelids open like they did to that kid in Lost, spoiler alert, and make you watch it until you're singing Where There's a Whip to the very beat of your heart. Okay, let's see. There's some weird trading cards which don't matter. And then the core game is going to be $75, $103 Canadian. No, tactical skirmish and light RPG rules. 60 to 120 minutes playtime. Ages 13 plus. Let's start talking about more games. This episode's long enough already, and we have too many tabs. Okay, so in the core box, they've got two factions. Hero of Firekeep, the Forces of Ice Peak come with the heroes. Yeah, that Dark Wolf is pretty badass. Is it weird? It feels like Dark Wolf is wearing more clothes than Larn, but it's probably the hood. But everybody's basically naked, so if you like that. Yeah, don't like these subhumans, but here we go. Read the full rule book. What's really nice and exciting about this read the full rule book, I can click on things, right? Yeah, okay. Is that they won't let me read the full rule book. So thanks, Fire and Ice. You saved me some time. This is garbage. It's an updated game from 40 years ago, and unless it's Dune, probably not that good. Oh, they're showing me pictures of the rule book. Can I zoom in here? I'd love to zoom in here. Number of game modes, Lone Wolf, Hide and Seek, King of the Mountain, Fire and Ice, okay. Deploying your faction, equaling a maximum of 50 points. Okay, so every faction has points value, building your armies. So your basic skirmish game. Look at that. We do what we can. What's shipping? Here we go. 13 to the US, and then a bajillion dollars to get to anybody else. That tracks. Only die-hard fans who don't mind skirmish games even look into this, because you're not going to get that much more information. That finishes Tuesday, September 12th at 11:59 Eastern. Let's move along to Seabound Board Game Reloaded, a casual board game of sea exploration, nautical discovery, and pirate battles and pirate battle. There's only going to be one. If I see multiple pirate battles in this, I'm going to lose it. That requires wits and the luck of the dice to win. All right, a little light run around a sea map, exploring new lands and getting booty? Yeah, get some booty. I honestly stopped paying attention to the video after they said, if you're jealous of your opponent's booty, and then I saw the queen and I thought, well, yes, of course, naturally. My favorite part about these cards is that they don't have what they do on them. They probably should, but they don't. Well, this is a bit weird. They only offered the game for $58 for the first 72 hours. It's not like limited to a certain amount until they hit their goal or something, which I understand a lot more. It's like, hey, we're going to offer it at a super discount. We're going to make $0 off of this, but we want this game to be made. And then any game after that, we can then adjust it so that we make some money. Like, I've seen companies do that, and like I'm fine with it. It's weird to just do it for that amount of time. Only 97 backers. Yeah, so average somebody spent on this was $76. You're going to have action points. You're going to move across. Cost you 2 action points to move on land. Oh, they have a little expansion with new characters. That always gets the people going. Well, they do now have icons on them. The crew has icons, at least, to tell you what they do. That's fine for language independence. Where is the rulebook? Rulebook is 2/3 down the page. I'm hoping this is wrong, but this is how I'm interpreting it. Basically, it says, roll the black 6-sided die. The resulting number is the number of actions that can be taken during your turn. So if that was just something that could be taken during my turn, that creates like a huge imbalance of the number of turns people get, the number of actions people do. Like, I would much rather if it was roll a black dice. Okay, everybody has that many actions this turn, and then you go around in player order. Like, that feels a lot more interesting. That doesn't seem that exciting. Otherwise, you can buy crew, you can move on to water, you can roll to discover a tile, or you can roll to attack. So you can just attack people, rolling dice, easy peasy. 2 crew max, so you can get crew, and you can also steal crew. Like, I like if you roll a 1 and then you don't have that many actions, like you have a special thing that you can do. I like how that balances. I don't know, the fact that you have to roll a dice really turns me off. Like, that the amount of actions you can get is just super variable, which is how it seems to be written. Not huge about that, but free shipping. Okay, so 68 incorporated. Usually something like this size would be about $15 shipping. So really it's like 53, right? If you think about it in that way. But it just seems like a pretty basic exploration game. And I think there are probably better ones out there. So I don't see why this one necessarily sets itself apart. But check it out if you want. That finishes Wednesday, September 13th at 11:54 a.m. Moving along to a tabletop role-playing game. I'm sure it is. It's called Eat the Reich. And the fact that it has such a great title means I'm talking about it. It's raised a bunch of money. Here's 1943, your team of crack vampire commandos with one mission. Drink all of Hitler's blood. It's Inglorious Bastards, but Inglorious Vampires. It seems very funny. And with gorgeous art, this over-the-top, ultra-violent game is designed to be played from beginning to end in 1 to 3 sessions of carnage, blood magic, meaningful flashbacks, and hundreds upon hundreds of extremely dead fascists. It tells one story, it tells it loud, and it tells it brilliantly. You know what? That's pretty good. PDF, £12, 21 Canadian. I should get Zach to read this one, honestly. That seems funny. You want a rulebook club designated video on this, Rowan Rook and Descartes, hit me up, because it seems funny. If you're interested in tabletop RPGs, this is one to check out for sure. That finishes Thursday, September 14th at 11 a.m. I just figured I'd include it because it was funny. Now, moving along to the only thing on GameFound this week. The only thing, they don't have anything else over there. If you heard differently, don't listen. Sorry, Alex. The only thing that's over there is Hybris Disordered Cosmos Rivalry. Hybris Disordered Cosmos returns with the release of a new expansion, Rivalry Deluxe Box, and the reprint of the original game. Yeah, I haven't heard of this before, so let's check it out. Well, great video. Let's see if the gameplay gets me as excited. Competitive game set in a universe with reimagined Greek mythology. Yeah, it seems like there's lots of places to put your people and get a bunch of fun stuff. What more can you ask for, right? Reprint. Oh, expansion $60. So, I hate that it's saying get it for $15 a month. No, that's stupid. Nobody ever deals in that. It's not a car. That's stupid. 2 new Olympians with this main. So 2 new factions with which you can play. That's cool. Yeah, they're really pushing the stretch pay, which I get. Like, it's sometimes nice to be able to divvy things out over a few months, but sell it as that. All you're doing is trying to get more sales, right? Which is fair. You want to get more sales, you're like, listen, 75 is too much money, but $15 a month, it's not bad. I want to know about the main game, because generally with expansions, right, if there's a new expansion, I like to just mention it and say, here's some new stuff, but if I don't know anything about the main game, like, that's what I'm going to spend my time focusing on. All deluxified components are game found exclusives. You can get a bunch of stuff. Acrylic standees, that's nice. Expensive, but nice. Acrylic tokens, nice, but expensive. Get the reprint. Here's what I want. €75, exactly. I mean, do I want it for €75? No, but that's what I wanted to know about. 4 miniatures, 29 standees, bunch of cards, game trays, storage, cool. That feels like a sneaky marketing post that happened as well in Board Game Revolution. The main guy was like, I feel like when this launched, because I saw it and he wrote, "Oh, I just got this from a pledge manager. No idea what it's from. Can anybody tell me what it was from?" And it said it was an all-in. He's like, "Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot I even backed that." I mean, to be fair, most campaigns also relaunch and have their expansions as soon as things are delivering, so maybe not. Maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But that just seems like a funny because I was looking through and I was looking at all these friggin' different expansions that don't feel like they need to be there. Okay, here's an update pack, free for backers of the campaign with at least one reward. Yeah, okay. Free download as well. Newly printed punch boards, technology tiles, and about 30 cards. Cool. Nice. Just updated stuff. Great. I love that, right? This is why you also don't ever need to get in so quickly on the first printing of something, because if it's good, it's gonna come back. Core book rulebook. Core box rulebooks. Yeah, let's see it. Each player takes on the role of an Olympian aspiring to become a real god. I'm a real god! Bringing empathy and technology to the people of ancient Greece. Okay. 6 ages, drive out threats, extract aegis, create balance, develop their powers, make a name. Cool. Yeah, love the theme, love the offer that it's giving me currently. How do we do it? That's the question. Cool, love this. At the end of the 6th age, player with the most victory points wins, but if you unlock all of your enhancement tiles, you win immediately. I love dual endgame triggers. It kind of adds a little bit of flair, a little bit of excitement into the mix. You could be doing so much right, and I just feel like you're doing a lot wrong. Again, it's that sort of first 48 hours, you get a thing, and if you don't, then you don't get any stretch goals, basically. Here's the sort of 5 things that you can do, though. Expand your influence, so expand your territory in the mortal realm, develop technologies, which I'm interested in. I want to look more into that. Enhance yourself, like unlock your own special powers, fight different monsters so that people love you, and then prophesize if you engage with the visions. If somebody's like, "Hey, I think these gods are going to do that," the gods are like, "Really? Yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'm going to go do that." Okay, so you have a divine pillar phase, planning phase, action phase, and then your refresh. Okay, great. I love this. It's action selection, right? But it's very similar to something like Puerto Rico, where the things that you leave behind get incentivized to be taken later on. So you're choosing your bonuses, right? Your bonuses like Terra Mystica style as well. I guess it's probably closer to Terra Mystica because these seem like bonuses rather than actual true actions. Yeah, it just is the power is active to you if you want to use it. Then you all plan where you can visit one location, so you're secretly selecting a place. Cool. And then in the action phase, you can activate your characters. A bit unclear how that works, but it seems fairly simple. And then you can activate different troops. Basically, heroes or prophets. Heroes can go fight in the Colosseum. Prophets can't because they're a little weak. Oh, and then wherever you go to the location, you can then perform an action at that location. There's a bunch of different actions that you can go to, and I guess because if somebody goes there first, players take turns in ascending order of the numbers on their divine pillar cards. You're also choosing your turn order and how you act. I love that. I'm a bit confused as to how often you'll get to activate your mortals, your prophets, and your heroes, because if you only have one location tile in your planning phase, it feels like you only get one action, but I'm willing to bet that either of those actions feel very powerful or very involved, and you've got your Olympian that you can do stuff with. Oh, okay, sorry, this is what I missed. Places one of their available location tokens under each of their available hero and prophet standees. So then on your turn, you activate one of your characters. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, very, very simple. I like it in theory, for sure. I think this one definitely has potential. Where it makes me annoyed is the price. I mean, you're still paying $112 Canadian or 140, even if you break it up over time, right? Like it's not a question of is it worth paying $15 a month for. It's a question of is it worth paying the full price. And I feel like we always get into this mindset of like, yeah, it's worth $50. Like for me, I was really excited about Hidden Arc and I backed it, and I don't back anything. I was like, yeah, I think this is a reasonable reasonable cost. I'm okay taking a little bit more money on the shipping. And then I upsold myself to the deluxe, which I didn't want to do because of those little things, the little lies we tell ourselves, right? But in the end, it was still like $90 or something coming out of my pocket, which is so stupid. And I didn't want to pay that for that game. I wanted to pay like 45, and I said it was okay paying 55 or something Canadian. But the little upsells are the things that make you pay more. And I don't know if this is gonna feel as worth it, but we'll see what the shipping really is now. Oh no, sorry, for the reprint, €30 to get to the US, EU €25, UK €21. It's the cheapest, right? 35 to get to Canada. So again, while this could be 112, it's not. It's actually €110, which is like 150 Canadian. And this isn't a game that I'm going to want to spend 150 on, but I don't think it is. Anyway, if that interests you, that finishes on the 14th, Thursday at 11 a.m. Let's move along. Let's keep it moving to the Moon, Bestest Memories, the official To the Moon series card game. Oh, okay, this must be an anime or something. 2 to 5 players race to capture memories of a lifetime. In the case of Renee, she just works to capture memories of the day that she's had as they slip through her grasp. I'm sorry, that's one of the sweetest things I've ever heard. To the Moon seems like it's a video game, not a anime or what I thought it was. But you can leave your own memory in the sand, which can be dug up and read by players, anybody who backs this game. And so then we're looking at like 24, 35 different memories or different little things that you can just go through and see people's memories, or passionate fans being actually able to interact with this game. That sounds so cool. Okay, a few more things. You're using emotions to collect these memories. That's going to be the crux of the game. But I do love that they were trying to let you use different emotions depending upon how that memory might be. They give the example of a hospital. It could be sad or happy depending upon the circumstances. And I also thought it'd be funny. It clearly doesn't have sadness here, but I always thought it would be funny if saying I do was there. They've never seen the ultimatum. Maybe it was a memory from the ultimatum, which the Queer Love ultimatum is so much better than season 2 and maybe season 1. Just saying, as your reality TV aficionado. The second thing that I wanted to point out is that they have this great clip saying it's a great icebreaker game. Of course, right here. So stupid. This video has me howling, and I wasn't prepared to watch it for all the way through. But it just talks about the notes being included, and then said, "Nothing can ever go wrong with this." Very good. You've got my attention, To the Moon. I think it's going to be just a very basic game, but if you're a fan of the game, like, this makes me print and play. $5 Canadian, okay. And bury a message in the upcoming To the Moon Breach episode? Yeah, probably. Portable deck, 25 Canadian. All right, that also feels good. Let's see. And rulebook right near the top of the page too, which is lovely. Oh, this is cool. You can get random emotions underneath. Seems very simple, right? You're going to be collecting emotions. You're going to be spending those emotions to collect memories, and then those memories get you a thing. There's a timer on it, so you'll shuffle the timer in the bottom 12 cards, so you use the whole deck every time. Don't need to shuffle the emotion deck, so chances are you're going to be drawing similar emotions. Interesting. I guess that'll speed up the game because you're just drawing a whole bunch more. Okay, and it depends on the board where they land in terms of how many emotions will be used to capture that. I like that because that creates an additional variability. Yeah, add up your points. Simple, easy, calming. If you're a fan of the game, and a real no-brainer. 25 Canadian. Let's see what shipping is. This is odd that the collector's edition in a physical telescopic box is more to ship than the portable edition. This is weird. Maybe that's for the complete set. That's weird. I don't know why the Tuck box doesn't make it a lot cheaper to ship. That I assume would be why. 18 US to double basically the price of the game because it's 24 Canadian makes it an absolute no. I would ask if the shipping on the portable box changed anything. Over 25 Canadian? I don't know. It's really going to be probably closer to 40 to get to your door. And in that instance, just get Splendor, really. But still, looks lovely. Well made, thrilled they've raised so much money, and I think the print and play as well, if you're able to print and play stuff, that would be the way to go. But if you're interested in that, that finishes Thursday, September 14th at 12:05 p.m. Moving along to, I almost said Freud. Is that a Freudian slip? I don't know. But to Feud, shape your penis. Fate. Damn it. A one-page print and penis game. 2 penises against each other. 1 penis to conquer. I think I said all that correctly. Freud. Let's see. Dice flicking. You've got my attention. You flick from the north or you flick from the south? That's the age-old question. You'll need to risk incursions into the far-flung regions to put your opponents in trouble. Okay. Here they are. Right near the top of the page. Well, it's not a very long page, but still. Even this is kind of a nice beginning. Roll a dice, and whoever rolls the highest gets to choose who goes first. But the key is, if you choose to go first, you get negative points equal to the dice that you rolled. So if I roll 6 and you roll a 1, am I choosing to get 6 negative points to go first? Or am I going to let you go first and only take 1 negative point? That's exciting to me. That's an exciting choice. You roll the dice, you flick the dice with a finger. You can undo and redo one of the flicks. All dice outside of the map are inactive, so you got to flick it onto the right spot. You'll create counties in each region by drawing a line. Wherever the dice ends up, that determines where the line's going to go, or what can't be broken, right? It creates a barrier. And the little border points, the amount of points, creates the value of capacity of the 2 counties. Cool. And there's some fun special powers, too, like magic allow your opponents, force the opponent to do all your flicking blindly. This game seems innovative and great. Just try to become the best penis out there. €3, 5 Canadian. Way to go, Feud. Shape your fate. That finishes Thursday, September 14th at 3 p.m. Moving along to Farms Race. Build, mutate, conquer. This image is triggering. I know it's just the lids. I can see that it's just the lids. Even still, it's just the lids. They got different boxes for them. It's okay. It's okay. I'm intrigued. The fact that by somebody who is responsible for Cards Against Humanity makes me very not intrigued. Looks like it's based on Catan, maybe, where you can nuke each other. Oh, look at that. Like Catan, but better, because you could nuke your opponents. I do like that how to play is right near the top of the page. You get your mutation and your starting region. Mutations are your asymmetrical abilities. Kind of feels very Small World-esque, right? I feel like this is going to be a combo of Small World and Catan, maybe. On your turn, each of your herds can either move or heal. Yeah, at first, every move will result in combat with neighboring humans to take control of their regions, aka Small World. Combat, you decided by rolling dice. Okay, and each person plays taking turns, so you can roll dice. Guns deal damage to anybody. Humans only get dealt with, etc. So also Risk. Small World, Risk, and Catan. And you can trade resources with each other at any time except during your turn. So the opposite. You can send resources on barns, armories, spy cards, and nukes. Barns will spawn new animals out. That's cool. And are worth victory points. Armories are upgraded barns worth 2 victory points. Spy cards have 1 powerful one-time ability, so they're your development cards. Nukes deal 1 damage to everything. When you destroy things that were victory points for people, then you also get points. It says that's it. I also want to know how you win. Is it the first 10 points like Catan? Let's see. How to win. The first player to reach 10 victory points. You know what? I don't hate it. How much are you? $45, 62 Canadian. Or you can get a deluxe edition for no reason, but also because you're on Kickstarter. Of course, it gives you mutation cards and extra dice and extra resources. Okay, but for almost double the price, no, don't do it. Shipping to the US, $15. So you're 60 US, or to Canada, it's like 80 something. Don't hate it. I think it's a lovely step. I think people who like Catan and Small World and Risk, I feel like there are a lot of people in my life who would really enjoy this game. But yeah, I don't know. Don't hate it. Definitely looks like a good take on an already existing game. Check that one out. That finishes Thursday, September 14th at 10:19 p.m. if you're interested. Okay, we gotta move faster than this, right? Yeah, this is a big week. I didn't expect this week to be so big, but I haven't cut anything yet, and I want to. But I know I'm not going to cut this one. This is Worms, the board game. Hilarious Worms gameplay on your tabletop. Grab your friends, unleash classic weapons, sneaky tactics, and all-out multiplayer mayhem. Yikes, 79 pounds? Are you kidding me? $135 Canadian. Jesus, no, don't do that to yourself. Just don't do it. Are there that many Worms fans? Assign teams and starting weapons. Shuffle the supply deck and drop deck. How to play. Hex grids. Each of players has a hand of cards available you can add to your hand from supply deck by collecting crates. The drop deck means what things are added each turn. Murder the worms. And then finally a sudden death. Okay, you can move around. Yeah, this is not telling me anything that I didn't expect. Seems like a very basic intro to skirmish games where you have a bunch of different cards that you then use to punch each other. Your movement, you could risk moving further. It seems like it's just a bunch of zany stuff that's going to happen, right? You can inch move from one spot to one spot, or you can jump where you can go and then you roll a dice and see if you fall into some other place. And I feel like that's the feeling of the game. And then you just play a bunch of cards and punch each other in the face. I do not see the appeal of this whatsoever, especially not for £79, 135 Canadian. It just seems like it's going to be a bunch of random whatever. But if you're a fan of the game, maybe this interests you. Still, shipping £8 to the UK, £20, 20 more pounds. So you're looking at like $150 Canadian for this like really basic skirmish game that tactically is nothing and only relies on your nostalgia and familiarity with the IP for enjoyment. So if that feels interesting to you, check that out. Finishes Friday, September 15th at 10 a.m. Let's move along to another Christmas romance movie. It's Christmas, and love is in the air. Again, all the endless fun of seasonal romance movies on your table any day of the year. This is a very funny idea. It's Hallmark, the board game. Movie of the week, the board game. I'm auditioning for the role of charming man later on this week. We'll see if I get that. That's true. That's a real role that I'm going out for. But yeah, I think this is a very funny concept. I hope it's a fun game. Yeah, they say we can't guarantee delivery by Christmas. I can guarantee it's not going to get to you by Christmas, especially if it ends September 15th. Doesn't matter. No way can it be produced and shipped to you in that time. Zero chance. You're getting this in April. However, seems like a funny game. Really, you're chucking a whole lot of dice, 84 dice, and you're trying to race everybody to complete your movie the quickest. You want to find Christmas love faster than Mrs. Marigold down the street. Sure, she took off her glasses, and sure, she started being nice to those urchin children from the North Pole, those naughty little urchin children from the North Pole. But you know what, Mrs. Marigold? You do not deserve true love. And you know who does? Attractive couple that nobody seems to want to date. And also, new owner of a Christmas-themed store or hotel or one of them. Screw you, Mrs. Marigold. That's what I'm basically trying to say. With an actual Christmas romance movie on the background, that's what they designed this for as well. That it's super easy enough to play. You're just chucking dice and you're pushing your luck and you're trying to get the symbols on the cards to win the day. Full rulebook. Yes, it's just on the page. Yes, another games. Way to go. And it's only $30 for 84 dice. Wow. A lower price point option than when we launched the campaign due to the success of the campaign. It only ships to certain countries. What are the certain countries that it ships to? Canada or the US. One standard copy, now at a lower price. Some people are still in the priority copy of $40. These 44 people are just being nice. Now it's at $30. This is a true Kickstarter success story, it feels. They've literally lowered the price. Everybody liked it so much, they said, you know what? We're going to lower the price. We've hit our goal. We now can switch things around and get your 84 dice for $30 instead of 40. That's incredible. Way to go. Some cards will have specifics you need to put on. Others will just be completely open. And you're going to have two love interests where I think you can store some dice in between turns, which feels good. Okay, so you can choose to remove deferred dice. You can also copy dice to your love interest. Okay, and then you have these other cards which let you swap turn dice into other dice. Oh, okay, cool. All unmarked locations must be the same type as other unmarked locations. So if it doesn't have a specific thing, and you have to place them all on a single turn. So that's why it's going to be a bit tricky, because this is how you're going to push your luck. I just love the enormous amount of dice that you're getting in this game. They can also have a watch-along game where you just draft the cards of what you think is going to happen in the movie and pick the tropes, and then you get points for picking the tropes. I love everything about this campaign. $10 shipping as well, feels reasonable. Incredible. I want to see the update where they reduce the price. Yeah, people are being like, listen, you can donate the $10. or you can keep it to cover unforeseen costs. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with this game. This is what Crowdfunding Countdown is all about. Check this one out for sure. That finishes Friday, September 15th at 11:50 a.m. It put a big Christmas smile on my Christmas face. All right, let's go over to BackerKit. Yeah, BackerKit has something, and it's not just innovation. That's also coming right after this. No, it has 3 great board games. Well, if the publisher tells you they're great, they must be. Although I think I've seen that one before. Let's see. From Latin American designers, abduct cattle as an alien empire and cosmic cow collectors, retrieve lost memories from a deteriorated mind in Neuroriders. I've actually played Neuroriders. I played Neuroriders when I was up in Cleveland. I played it with West, and it was, well, we'll get to it. And build the most beautiful family altar for a Day of the Dead in Patzcuaro. Cool, let's check it out. I also forgot, stay tuned until the very end because we are giving away a copy of Peak Oil. If you missed the unboxing, well, sucks to be you because somebody is going to get this copy of Peak Oil, and I'm excited for you. And I'm excited for me to actually play my copy of Peak Oil. All right, get all 3 for 49. Yeah, all right. So what's that, 17 average per game? That's about how much I would want to pay for Neuroriders. And look, Neuroriders is up first. So let's talk about it first. Oh no, it's just showing me pictures. Cosmic Cow Collectors is up first. So let's take a look at this one first. 20 minutes, 2 to 4 players. I'll tell you, there had better be rulebooks here. Yes, there are. Okay, great. Vie against other collectors to abduct more cows than anybody else. Cute little cow tokens. Okay, so it's kind of like quick cow bluffing. I like that. Abduct cows fewer or equal to your secret planet's cattle value. So you basically put a number down and you say, that's how many cows I'm taking. And then people need to guess if you were telling the truth or not, basically. You win the game by collecting more cows than your rivals. Let's read the rulebook. You can attempt to make people lose cows. Doesn't even seem like you gain cows, but you do get the planet in front of yourself. So do you get that many cows? You can make 3 invasion attempts as an action to invade, right? It just is taking cows away from people. But if you don't get the right number, then you lose 3 cows. I get it, but like, why don't you take the cows? What does the secret planet do? Tell me what the secret planet does right here. Okay, so you get extra cows at the end of the game. So 5 cows for each invaded planet that you have. And so when you want to swap out your secret planet, you have to give somebody else the secret planet. So that incentivizes you to take planets from other people. When does the game end? When one of these conditions is met, the last card is drawn from the planet deck, or any player has 120 or more cows. So you can trigger the end. Okay, you can catch the snitch and lose the game. Okay, yeah, it seems okay. On to Neuroriders to give you a quick breakdown. 25 minutes, that's about right. Basically, there's going to be this memory board where basically you're manipulating 4 tracks. You're manipulating 4 tracks to go up and down, and that's important because you have a hidden agenda where one of these tracks is worth 2 points for each point, one of these tracks is worth 1 point for each point, one of these tracks is worth -1. So you don't want that one to go up, you want the other ones to go up, basically. You're going to get to play an action card on your turn. Yeah, this is not a good breakdown of what this actually is. Basically, you're going to do well, they have an example in the rulebook. Let's see. You're going to set up these tiles in the middle that you can draft, basically. And so you get to choose a room for the room lineup and add it to your hand. You have 2 rooms in hand, and then you play one of those rooms to the board. Then whatever you placed, these Neuroriders move towards that room. If it moves 1 or 2 rooms, it actually goes there. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And basically every door that it moves through will move things up and down. Then at the end of each round, tiles get flipped over and making it a big weirder map. You can also move the rooms around with your 1-use action cards. The crystallization phase. This is basically to just not make it too much to manage, basically. I said basically a lot in this one. There's also the crystallization counter, which you want it to catch up and it'll cancel out points. And then one of the end game triggers, which I do like, is that if anything reaches 20, it moves automatically back down to 10, and then the game's over. So you're kind of pushing the envelope, or if you see somebody's going for something, you can then push that up as well and try to make it hit 20 so that it goes down to 10 so that you get more points than them. I played this as a 2-player game, and I thought it was just okay, honestly. I didn't feel like the choices were that interesting, and it was fairly obvious to see which tracks we were going for. Again, I've only played it once, but it was just fine. But with all of them together for $50, that might be a good bundle. It's just like I don't have any desire to play it again, but I can see how some people might enjoy the tile laying. Finally, we have Patzcuaro. Remember me when I have to say goodbye. Remember me. We're making a altar for the damned. Let's actually read the rulebook so that it gives us things that are helpful instead of those breakdowns which are not and don't capture the sense of the game. That's why we do what we do. So you're building a pyramid of altar cards. I see. And these create the shop tiles. You're going to move things around, kind of like backgammon where you skip over people. So this blue player is moving 2 spaces, for example, and then you're going to trigger the action of the space where you land. These actions are as follows. You can trade cards. You can place an altar card from your hand onto the altar. You can draw an altar card. You can reveal some cards. Or you can give other people actions, which why would you want to do that? As soon as the player completes the altar, the deck runs out. Then you add points for various things. It's all about items. Choose 3 items, gain 1 point for each item. Choose 2 items, gain 2 points for each item. And then choose 1 item, gain 3 points for each item. So you want to match up a whole bunch of the items up top. You can have more diversification down below. And they have different objectives. Yeah, also seems fun. I think Neuroriders is the weakest. And I'm trying to consider right now if I read through the Neuroriders rulebook, like, is it just because I've played it and are the other ones going to be similarly weak? I mean, the cow one, it just seems like fine. It's only because I like bluffing that I enjoy it. But it really, in terms of choosing a number, that may grow stale pretty quickly because why would you ever put a small planet down? But then I guess people can remember and choose which planets and really target people, but they could lose a bunch of cows because of it. I don't know. Could work. This one was just, I don't know. I think the things that still attracted me would still attract me. The idea of moving the tracks up and being able to control those tracks was a really interesting promise. It just didn't hit with me. And so I'm wondering if this would be an interesting promise that wouldn't hit as well. I don't think so. I think it's very simple. You see the cards out there. You're moving to try to get the best cards to arrange the best set collection, right? This is set collection. If you like that, something to consider. What are the reward tiers? So $25 for 1 or 3 for 50. That's a great price. I just wouldn't recommend Neuroriders. I wouldn't, but I'd recommend that as the deal. I don't know. If maybe Neuroriders could interest you a little bit more, but you got to be sure that you're going to be interested in it. Get all 3 in a digital format. $10. That's amazing. That's really good. Cosmic Cow is one you should print and play, and then you should buy Patzcuaro, and then you should ignore Neuroriders, I think. What's the shipping like, though? 1 game 14, 3 games 17. So there you go. So it's actually 67 US for all 3. So that's like 90. So they average to be like $30 for me, right? Or if I was just getting Patzcuaro, it's 25 plus 18, which is 43, so it'd be like 60. Again, way too much for what it actually is. But I think if all 3 hit with you, that's a good potential, and I like that they've been bundled, and that feels decently reasonable. So if that interests you, check that out. That finishes September 15th at 5 p.m. Also finishing September 15th, this one at 7 p.m., is Innovation Ultimate. I've been waiting for this to finish because this campaign has been going on for like 60 days or something. I don't even know. But it's raised a bunch of money by Carl Chudik. Carl Chudik's Innovation turned up to 11, a full box set that adds age 11 cards to each set, a whole new expansion with new streamlined expansion rules to get more of the hundreds of exciting cards to your table. Innovation has a really good rating. People like Innovation a lot. But I know it as a small box game, and this is sitting at $69. Nah, it's a very small game. Right, but I guess because you're adding in all of these different expansions, which each are costing like 20 Canadian. So, all right, maybe that's worth it if you're paying for a bajillion cards. 700 unique cards, yeah. And this is cool. This is a cool thing about Innovation is that the symbols that you have on your cards, if they are equal to or more than somebody else, when they do an action that's related to those symbols, you also get to take that action. Then they get a bonus card, which I think is pretty neat. You're also going to be constantly covering up your cards, and you'll be splaying a pile in a specific direction. So you're keeping in mind what has come before, which informs what will come after, right? Wow. Splaying them slanted also can happen in this one, whereas before you had to make a choice. And this is just talking about the different expansions that are in there as well, along with the new one, the Unseen, which can let you stash away some things. $12 shipping, 15 to Canada, Mexico, 20 to 22 for everywhere else. That feels pretty reasonable. But still, you're looking at $81 for what was, I think, in our most affordable games deathmatch. I'm pretty sure it was in the affordable games category because it's like 20 Canadian for the base. And so you have to ask yourself, is this all that it's cracked up to be for a small card game to have mountains of content? The answer is no. It just probably isn't. Unless you're playing this game every day, in which case, then maybe yes. I'm a bit perturbed that they don't include a full rulebook on here, which is annoying, but it's only dedicated to the gameplay. That's all the page is really dedicated to. So I'm going to give it a pass on that. If that interests you, if you want to get your hands on innovation, again, just like the regular innovation is fine. I think it's a cool idea in terms of laying the cards and chaining off of other people's actions and choosing how you splay. And when you splay, you're like, do I want to cover that up? It doesn't really benefit me, but it depends on if that other city starts innovating in those ways, then maybe I want to keep pace with them, right? I don't know. I think it's a cool game, but it just isn't worth that much to me. But if it's worth that much to you, check it out. That also finishes September 15th at 7 p.m. Moving along to the Saturday, the 16th, we have Battlecrest Year 2. The 18-card skirmish game is back with new heroes and a new map. It's a standalone and expandable with free solo expansion, only $12. I remember covering Battlecrest, although you've apparently created a bajillion games. 61 projects. Wow. All of these very small card games. Oh, it's Button Shy. It's Button Shy. My bad. Yes, if I had just read, one sentence, I would have known that Jason Tegmeyer is Button Shy. Jason Tegmeyer is Button Shy. You see him trying to do up a blouse and then they all explode and he runs away. I don't know. But so many people are taking Button Shy's like 18 card premise and moving further on with it, right? So that I'm often not sure. Cool. I just watched this great review from Lucky Roll. Seems to really enjoy it. You can get everything Battlecrest for $45, or you can get the base game, which has two heroes that you're going to face off against. This is the type of game that I'm scared of because I would want to spend the 45 because I would feel like I needed all the different characters, right? That's just my own tendency. But you'll have 6 cards being landmarks, which are the areas where you're kind of fighting, and you can activate and then you'll flip them over and they'll have different abilities on the other side. You'll have a character card with their own sort of attack cards as well. And then you move around the board trying to punch each other in the face as you deal with your own sort of health. As you can see, Kalados right here, the example, and then the extra hero set or Exa hero set. That's all it is. You got the 6 cards, and then 6 location cards. Done. In a tiny little wallet, $12 as most Button Shy games are, set 17 Canadian, $5 shipping to the US, or the international one, which I assume there's going to be shipping costs down here. Canada 14, EU 16. Just doesn't really make sense. Like, it's based out of the US, that's how it's being made, and then it's shipped in the US, so I understand. So that takes it out of real contention for me. But 17 US is like 20 something Canadian. Pretty decent. Button Shy has a great reputation, and if you like these sorts of skirmish games that are 2-player head-to-head skirmish games, then check it out. That finishes Saturday, September 16th at 10:30 a.m. Moving along to Flawless Heart Charm, the 2 to 10 player Magical Girl card game. I don't know. I just this is probably getting cut. Here's something cool you don't see every day. Magical Girls of Color. Get rid of all the cards in your hand, similar to Uno. Everyone's dealt 6 cards. You know what they don't include according to this listing? You know what you don't get according to this listing? You don't get the game. We want to thank you as well as send you some digital wallpapers. When the game comes out, there'll be a QR code that will lead you to the J1 Studios website, where your name will be on display as a backer. But you don't get the game. Oh, and you don't get the game in any of the pledges. You can't get this game anywhere. Yeah, I guess this is staying in. There you go, Flawless Heart Charm. You know what you can't get? A 2 to 10 player Magical Girl card game that features magical girls of color. I wish you could, but according to these rewards, you can't. All right, let's check this one out. Spears and Bones, print and play, prehistoric tactical social deduction card game for 3 to 4 players. Lead your tribe to victory. Oh my god. An average game with 4 players lasts 3 to 4 hours in this print and play, which is in the prehistoric realm, and oh, they're blurring everything out now. They certainly didn't in the video. And everybody just happens to be naked. It seems like this is just an excuse for someone to draw a bunch of naked people. You control different tribes, you get a different role, and you have a different desire of what you want to have happen, and then you contribute to fighting people. I think that's all you really need to know about that one. Just go play Night of the Ninja instead. It'll give you all that social deduction that you want with switching teams, and you won't have to spend 3 to 4 hours, and it won't overstay its welcome. Hopefully, like this episode of Crowdfunding Countdown. Let's move along to Build War. Tension of war created by new draw system and modulated action phases. Oof. A deck building card game with deep strategy and fun to play. That's a bit confusing. Well, we'll see if they've got a rule book. Seems like you're going to draft a deck, basically. And so you draft your starting hand and then you fight each other a bunch. It's only 35 US, 42 Canadian. And then you're going to keep on building stuff, an order of things. Yeah, they're just saying the same words. You know, if you say the same words to me, execute the super combo, it's not going to help me. And then there's shipping, of which is 54 to the US. Yeah, that makes sense. With no rulebook. So I guess the reason why this is still in here in the Crowdfunding Countdown, and I haven't cut it, as I haven't cut anything yet, because the Magical Girl card game was funny to me. I think this sort of reminds me of Algomancy, which we covered last week, and I think Algomancy is potentially significantly better, right? But it gives that same sort of draft on the fly, build your decks and attack everyone at once feeling. So if you wanted to take, $35, well then, and $54 in shipping. Anyway, if that idea of drafting on the fly feels exciting to you, check out Algomancy from last week. That's the only reason why I'm keeping this in here. That finishes Sunday, September 17th at 10:59 p.m. Moving along, a few more remaining to go. We've got another roll and write. Pioneer on Mars, a roll and write dice battle. Carve your legacy on Mars in this riveting shared sheet roll and write duel. Fine, we'll cover you. I was going to cut this one, but often print and plays don't have rule books, so I guess I'll cover it since you do. Look at that, you get some publicity. And also, this is why you snake draft the dice. You snake draft the dice, and I haven't seen that in a lot of roll and write games. Well, I have. Dinosaur Island Roll and Write, that's my favorite roll and write. So maybe that's why I'm also inclined to cover it. Yeah, and then you're just drawing symbols. You have to draw them as a pair, and you have to put them somewhere on the board, and then you score up, down, left, right points for that. It's very simple. I like the dice drafting, but that's about it. Again, €4, $6 Canadian. No, Pioneer on Mars. It's €3. Okay, it's $5 Canadian. That's how we do it around here. All right. That's how we do it around these parts. If you're interested, that finishes Monday, September 18th at 3 a.m., but it's print and play, and you can probably get it literally anytime you want. Moving along to Four Horsemen, an apocalyptic co-op game. Prepare for the final stand against evil in this epic deck upgrading and resource management game for 1 to 4 legendary heroes. Let's check it out. Okay, deck building intrigues me. It seems pretty simple from the video, but unique deck upgrading mechanics. So you're always drawing cards and you're choosing one of those cards to destroy each time. I do love this. Asymmetrical heroes is the way to my heart. It really is. Okay, so you can always use your divine powers. You're going to have events that are happening very pandemic-like, and then each card is used in a different way, and you have to assign which way those go. Rulebook, top of the page. Okay, great. This is funny. It tells you what sort of apocalypse is coming. Is it a Judeo-Christian apocalypse? Is it a Greek apocalypse? Well, there's always going to be some sort of apocalypse in the Four Horsemen. They don't care. The Four Horsemen of the apocalypse, even though I'm fairly certain they came from the Bible, they don't care. They'll deal with any apocalypses, any apocalypse. They don't care. This world board seems so inconsequential, which is also why I think the deluxe pledge is so inconsequential, because all it is these are trackers, right? They're tracking the amount of demons that are in a particular spot and that you've got to keep control over. For example, a hero might deploy a bunch of miners to prevent an asteroid from even reaching Earth. That is the Armageddon Apocalypse. Also, the Horsemen are moving towards their own track, because if the Demon track wasn't enough for you, well then, of course, we've got the Horsemen board as they all move towards death and destruction. Manage your tracks. That's what this game is. Manage tracks with asymmetrical abilities and drawing cards. I want to find out how the cards are drawn. That's what I want to know. Okay, so you do have to pay for these relics. That's interesting. So each round, you're going to draw 3 relics. You can acquire 1 or more of these relics by paying the cost, and then you're going to draw a new hand of 5 relics, obviously shuffling things back together when you need it, and then each round you're also putting 1 into the sacrifice, so you're destroying things as it goes along. That idea of destroying the cards as you go along in the forced cycle of your deck feels pretty neat to me. That's a fun part in deck building games. Oh, and there's just duplicates of these pages 3 times in this rulebook. That's weird, but it's just draft, most updated. It's the same thing, but it's just repeated 3 times. All right. Yeah, you have to hit the scenario's victory conditions or your tracks get out of control. There's zero, less than 0 chance where you should ever purchase the deluxe pledge, because you don't need these demons. You don't need the heroes. There's not that much movement happening on the board. There isn't. You're just putting demons on. They're just all a bunch of tracks. You don't need this extra stuff. I understand people want to get all these heroes, adding the Chinese heroes and the Norse heroes in. That's kind of cool. And the Egyptian heroes. Yeah, crisis management style games. That's a good way of describing it. I agree. I like this keyword. I enjoyed my time playing it. I'd absolutely play it again just about any time somebody wanted, which means I'm not reaching for it myself. That's what that means. Shipping is $19, so $85. Nah, I could just play Pandemic for that. I really think the deck building aspect feels fun, and that there's so many relic cards feels exciting, but I also don't know if that will really impact the game that much. I think it's cool. Definitely think it's cool, but it would cost, $120 for me. And I think it would be potentially a tiny bit cooler than Pandemic, but maybe not. And so for $120, not willing to take that risk. But if that interests you, that finishes Monday, September 18th at 11:59 a.m. This guy doesn't even like games. Yeah, I don't. I love them. Moving along to Vitreum, a roll and write game where your stained glass glaziers create the most beautiful piece of work in this print and play board game. Another print and play, move over Sagrada, and your weird, expensive legacy roll and write. We've got Vitreum. You choose a dice, you color it in. Oh, okay. So you get to choose one of these each round when you color something in. Then you won't be able to use the scoring again. So you have to choose when you're going to score 4 yellows in a square. And they don't have to be that full square. They just have to be in that square, right? So this would get you 3 red across, which would allow you to score points. But they didn't score that in that time. All right, that seems nice enough. You want that? €3, $5 Canadian. Easy peasy. Squeezy lemon. Let's move on to our final game of the week, and then there's one more thing that I want to check out. Maybe not. Has 86 backers, $12,000 with 86 people. Alexa, what's 12,000 divided by 86? 139 is the average what people have paid for this. And we see 26 backers have gotten the standard edition. 50 backers have done the Rogue Thief at 50. And then the Ultimate Thief, we have 6 people who have pledged that. The fact that it's just over 12,000 means How You Steal Things, a board game, means we got some angel investors in terms of How You Steal Things the Kickstarter way, and you may not get this weirdly shaped thing. You also roll a movement die to determine how far you can move this turn. I like that it's an option, but it's still roll and move, which is one of my least favorite mechanics. So, nope. Let's move on to this gaming table for small spaces, if this is worth looking into. I mean, they wanted a $95,000 goal, but maybe you can buy these somewhere else. Doesn't seem like they're doing anything for small spaces. It just seems like they're making board gaming tables with a minimum of €310 in shipping, meaning Allplay. Sorry, allplay.com is probably a better deal. So let's get rid of those tabs and let's come back to here. We're done for the week. However, every week I have a pick for me and a pick for you. Pick for me being the thing that I'm the most interested in, and the pick for you being the thing that I think if you get, you'll probably enjoy. If you're looking for somebody to tell you, go for it. Well, only if you're super excited about it should you do that. And this is a tough one. We had a lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff and a lot of stuff that honestly felt decent, but nothing I would really consider pulling the trigger on. I think I know what my pick for me is, though. Yeah, I got two. My pick for me is, of course, the lovely gentleman from All Play, but also my pick for me is another Christmas romance movie. I'm just very simple dice game. You get a ton of components for the price. A simple thing. It goes into a theme that you may never have seen before. For the novelty of it, potentially fun. Pushing your luck, rolling dice it's fun. It's fine, right? It's fine, but this appeals to me in a way because of the funny theme, uh, and the fact that they had it at an expensive price, and they decided, you know what, this campaign is done so well, we can offer it for $30, and they just offered it. Nobody was asking for it. You look at the comments. There's 28 comments. They're even offering local pickup. I don't know where they are locally in Utah. You can play however you want. They're working hard to get it into people's hands. Yeah, this is thrilling. Super thrilled. Absolutely my pick for me. Like, I'm contemplating backing it just because it would be $50. $50 for that many dice? Could be. Could be okay. I mean, I know it's just going to sit on the shelf, and I know I'm not going to really play it because it's going to be too light for my tastes. I'll see if Renee's interested, and then maybe. So that's my pick for me. And you know what? I think my pick for you is going to be Farms Race. If you're that type of person who likes Catan or liked Catan and wanted to combine it with Small World and Risk, I'm actually very surprised that this seems interesting to me. But I'm a Catan person at heart, and I think $45 is reasonable for the types of little meeples and the little wood thing that you're getting. It feels like a reasonable price for a game that I think will deliver on the promise. I think that's it. I think Farms Race is going to deliver on the promise of nukes in Catan. And if that's something that interests you, that's why it's the pick of the week. Anyway, that's it for the week, except it's not, because it's time to figure out who's going to be sent a copy of Peak Oil. Now, remember, I won't get you to pay for shipping. I won't ask you for that. It's just a giveaway for you. And I hope that doesn't bite me in the butt. Let's go to our trusty YouTube random comment picker. And the stipulations of this, filter duplicate users, the stipulations of this was that you had to include a renewable energy source. And there was more than one person who put oil. I'm sorry to tell you, the dinosaurs are gone, so we don't have them to make more oil with. The idea of renewable energy is that if you use it, you can then reuse it for something else. And I suppose it is true about oil. You can reuse it for smog and pollution, but no. So if an oil comes up, I think it's funny, but if it feels genuine, then you're not winning. See, let's look at Google. Fossil energy sources, including oil, coal, and natural gas, are non-renewable energy resources that formed when prehistoric plants and animals died and were gradually buried by layers of rock. That's why there's so many wars about oil. The whole premise of the game. All right, let's see who's a winner after that downer. They're rolling by. Congratulations to Christian Gok Ong, who says hydropower machines are crazy. I want to know how they operate. Well, you know what? I want to know how you operate. More specifically, I want to know where you live, because you're going to get a copy of this game, Peak Oil, baby. So congratulations, Christian. Get in contact with me. My email's in the description, and we will confirm your identity, and then we'll send that off your way. I say we, but it's me. I will send that off your way as soon as I have the bandwidth to go to the post office. I am going to Vegas September 22nd. So if you're in Vegas, could I possibly send it from Vegas? Could I save money on shipping if I send it from Vegas? Maybe. We're going to figure that out. Or if you're close, come to WSBG or whatever. Anyway, that's it for the week. Thank you so much for everybody who tunes in, likes, comments, subscribes. All of you, you're friggin' fantastic. I like hanging out with you a lot. I hope you find this sort of in-depth coverage of games where I share just a tiny little bit of it and then give you mostly nonsense. I hope you find it helpful and entertaining and all that sort of stuff, because that's why I do it. I just love, I don't know, I'm filled with love for the board gaming community. It was thrilling that we have people all around the globe just enjoying the hobby and enjoying spending time with other people and with engaging in a thing that challenges our minds and brings us so much joy. So I have so much joy thinking about all of you. I have so much joy thinking about my dang Patreon community who, whenever they win something, they're like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm going to put up a prize. I'm going to put up a prize. I see people putting up prizes for so many just random things over there. And I just think you're all amazing. And I'm not saying this. Don't join on Patreon just because you think you can win a prize. Do it because you appreciate the hours and hours and hours and hours that I spend on these sorts of videos for pennies from YouTube. Do it for that reason. But it's really nice to just see the community and just a reflection of how generous this community is. And it's awesome. So, love y'all. Hope you have a wonderful day. My name's Chris George, and oh boy, I'm supposed to say something here, but it's some sort of catchphrase. I don't have a catchphrase, and I don't have any way to get this magical girl gay, which, breaks my heart.